We'll now call the Licensing Commission to order. First order of business is the approval of the October 2013 minutes. I'll make a motion to approve those. Is there a second on that?
I'll second the motion.
Those minutes are approved. For November, I'm going to table the November 20th meeting. I was not in attendance, and Commissioner Guanasso and Commissioner LaCroix were both in attendance, and I would need both of those commissioners to sign off. Commissioner Guanasso will not be here today. We express our condolences to her and her family for recent loss in their family. We'll move right to item number 1, show cause hearing for MFRP Corp. doing business as the Squire, 640 Squire Road.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, members of the Licensing Commission. My name is Attorney Lawrence Simeone, and I represent MFRP Corporation. My understanding relative to the incidents that were established as part of the show cause hearings, concerns, and focus were discussed at length at the last hearing, so I'm not going to go over that. My understanding is this board has asked that my client develop an additional set of guidelines and plans to address the issues that happened on those 3 particular dates. He has indicated, as Mr. DePisa, Robert DePisa, you know, he's the owner. He has indicated that he has taken the following steps, as he discussed with you, I think, the last time, which is he's blocked off the 2 parking lots between the Hess gas station and himself, so there's only 1 entrance in and out. He agrees and will continue to make calls to the police by his staff. He doesn't want to reduce those calls. He thinks those are in the best interest of the public, but he believes that the cutting off of these 2 properties will confine his property and be able to police that in a better way, in a better fashion. He has provided an additional $20,000 in security, cameras in and outside the facility, and as the board may know, he initially did $10,000 back when I last represented them, so now the camera facilities have increased. They have an existing security consultant, it's Boston Security Group. They've been working with Boston Security Group since back when you approved the 2 o'clock license. This particular group has made several recommendations that Mr. DePisa and his company are going to adopt. One of the key recommendations is to focus on the client. To focus on the client and while they're in the facility, and essentially to monitor the client, if you will. They have recommended, and their recommendation will be adopted, they recommended that we increase more wait staff and more door staff. And Mr. DePisa has done that. With respect to the additional wait staff and door staff, which Mr. DePisa can speak to if you want to know the exact numbers and people and so forth, those individuals will be tip certified, and they'll also be prepared and trained by JBS. I think I'd rather have Mr. DePisa talk about who JBS is, because it's somebody that I think the Commission needs to be aware of. These 3 steps that we've taken, including putting a detail officer after the initial problem in September, our recommendation would be that if the board thinks that it's a good idea, we would continue to do that as well. So these would be the 3 steps, the 3 points of a plan that we're trying to mitigate any further problems. We have had no problems since October 14, 2013. We'd like to hope that would continue, but it is the holiday season and people do some crazy things, and we need to be aware of what's going on. But I would ask the Commission to close its show cause hearing after it hears from Mr. DePisa.
How you doing? I'm Rob DePisa. Great. As our attorney said, a couple of things that we did implement is training of our staff, additional training of our staff. One of the groups is JBS, and they train in ID checking. They also train in customer awareness in alcohol establishments. They consult with the ABCC, and I've made all of my staff go through that just to kind of safe awareness more with our customers. Also, through the recommendations from Boston Security Group, we added additional wait staff and additional door staff. Therefore, they're only each wait staff and server is dealing with less people, so they can ensure that they're getting less consumption and there's not a lot of crossing over with, over-serving and stuff of that nature. Besides, all of them have been tip certified, and we're taking all the proper precautions to make sure that we run a good, solid business.
Okay. So since that meeting, and 60 days ago, I've also done a little research on my own with responding police officers, other police officers. I think I commend the Revere Police Department for, I think, sending cars down at closing, not only to the Squire, but to other clubs around the city. In looking at it, one of the things I don't want to have establishments doing is not calling the police when something like that happens. And so I don't necessarily want to penalize somebody for doing the right thing. I think a lot of the problems that you experience are inherent in that business anyway. In any liquor business, I think you have those issues. From an operational standpoint, in looking at it, I feel that you took the necessary steps. There are some things that in talking with different officials that I think one of the things that I'd like to see is maybe a detailed officer, maybe Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I think those days, leading up to the weekend, I think you mentioned that Sundays were relatively slow, and although this was a rare occurrence, it didn't in fact happen, but I think it's more likely and logical that it would help on a Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Okay.
Is that something that you would be amenable to?
I will definitely discuss it with my partners, and I'm not opposed to it. I believe the details help a lot. The presence there and the people knowing they're there. Anybody who's coming there that may have been in another establishment is deterred to come there.
I mean, I sit here, I want to help businesses grow in the city, but I also do not want to have establishments out of control and creating, just bad situations for the residents. And so I would say that I would table this based on the fact that if you're willing to go to a detailed officer, I will table this, and I think that we'll just take it as it goes, and if something comes up, we're going to be focused on the operational issues. I don't think from an operational standpoint that I think the added staff, and I think a detailed officer would make a big difference there. I think
absolutely agree with that.
So having said that, I'm inclined to table it for 30 days. Not 30 days, I'm inclined to table it for now, and if there's any other incidents, we'll take a look at it at that point in time.
I do appreciate it.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Just a quick question, Peter. On the cameras, are those for the post-event, or is it cameras being watched during the time?
Well, one of the things is, as anybody who deals with security will let you know, the more that's out there, it's really to keep the people who are going to do something wrong in the parking lot to kind of do it somewhere else. So they're posted, there's signage. I'm trying to deter people from gathering in the parking lot that were never even in our establishment, which was also a recommendation of some of the police officers. So that's one of the things we've done. We've also done it in case there was an incident in the parking lot that we have footage of it, for helping out the police department. But the most important part that we've done is we're making sure that all of our staff that is employed by us is trained properly to deal with the customers coming in, customers leaving, to make sure that everybody's safe in and out.
So security go, I'm sorry, did I catch you?
No, just so in the camera, you don't have someone in a room watching the...
No, I
because
don't- I do not.
If something would happen, we'd have something on video.
Correct.
And it's more of a deterrent.
Exactly, and
when you see
that's,
the cameras.
you know, most of the security cameras are for a deterrent.
Sure.
What type of security going into the club do they manage?
I have 2 door staff at the front checking IDs and checking people in the back coming in to make sure that no one's intoxicated, seeing if they're wobbly, you know, different times of night. Also in the club, there's 4 other gentlemen in the club. One walks around. A couple of them have posts kind of watch from, to kind of a split up building, so they watch from different areas. And based on Boston Security's recommendation, we posted people in different areas, and to make sure that everything is being watched properly.
Is Boston Security with the, is it a year-round consultant, or are they just there?
No, they've actually, and they have training guidelines and everything that they're coming in every so often to test my staff on and make sure that they update them on different procedures.
And then on your staff, so on Friday, Saturday, Thursday, Friday, typically, how many wait staff, how many door staff, and how many did you add?
We went from 4 door staff to 6. We went from 2 bartenders to 3 bartenders, and we went from 2 wait staff to 4 wait staff.
Does that tie in with the additional business you've gotten since?
Well, that's part of it, but the other part is that I don't want one wait staff handling 80 people.
Sure.
It's too many people to make sure that they're being served properly. So we've got smaller sections and more staff, and the customer ultimately gets served better.
So this is kind of a general question, kind of outside this. Have you seen an increase in business from the 1 to 2 a.m.?
Absolutely.
Since
Absolutely.
20%, 30%?
I don't know what the number is yet, but it is. We're one of the only places around that has a 2 o'clock license, so a lot of people do show up at 12:30 knowing that they could stay till 2 a.m.
Great. Are there any other proponents that want to speak on behalf of this issue? Hearing and seeing none, are there any opponents that want to speak on behalf of this issue? Seeing and hearing none, I'll make a motion to table this indefinitely until, if and when there's another issue.
I'll second the motion.
All in favor, say aye.
All right.
Aye. You're all set. Thank you. Item number 2 is Sons of Italy LLC doing business at, Sons of Revere LLC doing business as Sons of Revere. Please state your name and address for the record, please.
David Lightbody, 48 Charger Street.
You're applying for a change of hours
Correct.
from 1 a.m. to 2 a.m.
Yes, sir.
Can you tell me what you plan to do in terms of dealing with the additional time? How you're going to handle clientele leaving the establishment, those kinds of things?
I'll tell you the truth, I really don't see us even getting close to that 2 o'clock license. Typically, they're out of there at 12 o'clock. It's kind of an older man's kind of place. But with the holidays coming up, I figured people dragging their feet, I didn't want to get caught up past 1 o'clock, so I figured now's as good a time as any.
Okay. I mean, do you expect to have staff out at closing time to make sure people aren't milling around the neighborhood? I know that in the past, not necessarily maybe under your ownership, but they've had issues in the past with noise and things like that. So my concern is in that area.
I don't believe there's going to be any more additional noise or even people for that matter. I don't think we're the kind of place that's going to be attracting a 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock crowd.
Do you intend to have your staff at closing time go out and make
Yes,
those-
absolutely.
So David, as the facility is now, it seems like it's just a small group that gathers around. Does that plan to change in the...
No, we don't have, I don't have any intention on changing my clientele.
Okay. Any questions?
No, I think...
Is there a motion on the table?
Motion to approve a...
I'm sorry. Are there any proponents that want to speak on behalf of this issue? Hearing and seeing none, are there any opponents that want to speak on behalf of this issue? Hearing and seeing none, I'll now call for a
motion to extend Sons of Revere closing to 2 a.m.
I'll second that motion.
Thank you.
That's proof. Thank you. Good luck. Item number three is 38 Broadway LLC, doing business as Valaris. The application here. Hi, please state your name and address for the record, please.
Cecilia Maya, 388 Broadway, Revere.
Okay, and you have an application for, to amend your entertainment license one time only for a a cappella group?
Correct.
Okay. And when is this going to take place, and what, it's what? Oh, it's not a one-day, it's in addition to? Okay. Can you tell me a little bit about what you're planning to do? Is it the same group? Is it going to be multiple groups? Is it going to be strictly a cappella, or is it going to be bands with instruments and things like that?
No, it's the a cappella group that we've been using, or that we've used the last couple of times, and we just thought that it would be easier if we had the entertainment license to have them over maybe once a month instead of having to come in every month to apply for a permit, that if you would allow us to bring them in whenever, we thought that we'd like to bring them in, Valentine's Day, Mother's Day, things like that. But it's the same group. We don't have an intention of bringing anyone new or bands with instruments. No, that's not what we had in mind. It was just this specific group.
What are the hours that you anticipate that they'll be performing?
Anywhere between 9 and maybe at the latest 11.
9 and 11, okay. Any questions?
None.
My only concern is that what I don't want to have this become is and I'm not opposed to bands and things like that, but I don't, based on where the restaurant is and what we're I think as a community trying to attract, I want to make sure that it's something for families and people that are going out to celebrate Mother's Day and things and the like. So as long as we're staying within the parameters of an a cappella group, I don't necessarily have an issue with it, but I want you to be aware of people leaving and entering the restaurant, especially at closing time. There have been some complaints in the neighborhood, not necessarily made to Valaris or any other establishment, but just in general. And so as a result of that, I'm sensitive to that, because I don't, if I lived there myself, I wouldn't like it either. So I want to be clear on that I want to make sure that we're staying within the parameters of an a cappella group. Is there a motion on the table?
Opponents?
Good, thank you. Appreciate that. Are there any opponents that want to speak on behalf of this issue? Any proponents that want to speak on behalf of this issue? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call for a motion.
Motion to amend the entertainment license to include a cappella singers.
Okay. And I'll second that motion. License has been approved. Go on.
Good luck.
RDG Martone, Inc., doing business as Figaro's. Please state your name and address for the record, please.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, members of the Commission. Attorney Dan Buckley from D'Ambrosio Brown on behalf of RDG Martone, Inc., DBA Figaro's. The application in front of the Commission is an application for a beer wine license at the restaurant Figaro's at 425 Revere Beach Boulevard. The proposed manager for the beer wine license is also the president and director of the corporation, John Martone, who's present at the hearing this afternoon.
Great. And can you tell me exactly what your plans are in terms of operation, number of seating?
Certainly. Figaro's on Revere Beach Boulevard is fairly new. Opened in April of 2013. contributed a significant amount of money in renovating the restaurant. I've actually got a few photographs that the commission would like to see if they haven't been by.
Thank you.
Figaro's is an Italian food that serves both lunch and dinner. It has 5 tables, 800 square foot place, not a big place, but tends to kind of design it for a small, intimate entree and likes to accompany their entrees with beer and wine to offer additional services to their patrons. Their hours of operation are 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. and it's a family-run business. John Martone, his sister, and parents are the majority of the employees, and they have a few other people that work there. Mr. Martone has a significant experience in the alcoholic beverage industry, working at a sports center that had an alcohol license. He's been previously tip certified, so he's knowledgeable in the area of service and monitoring. And he's the proposed manager. As any business owner, is going to be there more than 40 plus hours a week.
Right. Having been in the establishment, I think it's a great addition to the city. The food is fantastic. The people are great there. I don't anticipate any issues with the establishment or the fact that they'll be serving beer and wine there. And I think I would support it wholeheartedly.
So currently he's not tip certified?
He's been tip certified in the past,
Is that
but his restaurant doesn't have a license, so I'm not sure what the expiration is, but you would certainly renew that if necessary. But I think that really what goes with it is the experience that certification got them in the past.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is all indoor seating. Summertime.
It's all indoor seating. That's correct. And this will just be table service if that matters to the commission.
Okay. Okay. All the questions here. Are there any proponents that want to speak on behalf of this issue? Hearing and seeing none, are there any opponents that want to speak on behalf of this issue? Hearing and seeing none.
One last question. Is everything up to date with any no liens? Everything up to date on expenses paid up on the facility, as far as we know?
As far as I know,
Okay.
I'm the first one to hear if there aren't. So.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Great.
Okay.
Great. I'll make a motion to approve that license. Is there a second to that?
I'll second the motion.
Thank you.
Great. License been approved. Thank you. I'm sorry?
That's to be read into the record for the next item.
The next item, okay.
Iris.
Okay. Item number 5 is Cafeteria La Delicias, Columbianas. We have a communication from Councilor Ira Novoselsky to the Commission regarding the establishment. I am the ward councilor at the aforementioned location exists. I am sorry I'm not able to appear before you this afternoon in regard to this location, requesting a change of closing hours from 1 a.m. to 2 a.m. This location has been very good neighbors with a clean environment. They've had no trouble since they opened their doors several years ago. Therefore, I have no objections to the changes in hours of operation. Thank you for your timing on this matter. I hope the Commission approves this request. Thank you, Ira Novoselsky. Please state your name and address for the
Dan Buckley, D'Ambrosio Brown, 14 Proctor Avenue, on behalf of the applicant.
Great.
The petition in front of the commission is a request for change of hours until 2 a.m. This is a Colombian restaurant with an entertainment license that has, if you're familiar with the back room, with the dance floor and bar at 86 Shirley Avenue. As I think Councilman Novoselsky appropriately put, this business has been very good in the neighborhood. I don't think has been in front of this commission over the past several years for any issues. They have that back room with music. While they have a significant occupancy over 100, I think generally they have 50 to 60 people on a weekend. In addition to bartenders and wait staff, they have security that monitors it. And I think the change from 1 to 2 a.m., the business doesn't really think it's going to increase the amount, but just allow the current patrons to stay until that time.
So two concerns I have is one, the entertainment component of it. I know we talked a little bit about it in previous meetings about the volume of music being in close proximity to the neighbors. My main concern is that going to 2 a.m. and extending the entertainment component of it to 2 a.m. To me is a little concerning, and so I'd like to know what your plans are from an entertainment standpoint. I think we agreed in the last meeting that I believe it was 12:30 that they were going to kill the DJ, or
I was not present at the last
Okay.
hearing with the entertainment license. I think if there was some accommodation between the hours of operation and maybe ceasing the
Yep.
entertainment aspect, I'm sure my client would be amenable to that. I'm not sure what the commission has in mind. I just think that,
Sure.
1 a.m. is the late time, and from my understanding, there's been no complaints
Okay.
to 1 a.m., so I don't really see, if there's no complaints at 1 a.m., why there would be at 2
Okay.
a.m. I mean, I think anyone said sleep at 1 a.m., they're going to be sleeping at 2 a.m.
Yeah, no, agreed. Do you anticipate doing any, having the DJ play till 2 a.m. or are you going to just have him end at the time that he currently ends right now? Which I thought was 12:30, but it could be 1. Let me just verify that here.
I can't remember.
I can't even looking. But
It was no later than 1.
yeah, no.
My understanding that they would be amenable to stopping it before that 2 a.m., such as 1:30, if that's amenable to the commission. Of course, if that does become an issue to the neighborhood or this commission, that could be certainly looked at.
Okay.
I think we stopped most of them at 1.
1. Yeah. I'd be more inclined to. I think what we've been asking establishments to do is at 1 o'clock cease music at that point.
That's acceptable to the
Yeah, I mean, I just think that it gives people the opportunity to wrap up for the evening and kind of slow it down before patrons start leaving the club,
Certainly.
or the restaurant in this case.
So it would be the
entertainment would be to 1
entertainment
o'clock.
till 1, and the hours of operation would be alcohol license till 2 a.m.
Yeah, so let me ask you a little bit about that from a safety standpoint and from a consideration towards neighbors. How would what do you anticipate that you'd be doing at 2 o'clock? Would you have your staff go out and make sure that people are moving along and not milling around the neighborhood? Because that's my main concern. So, there are some establishments that in the city that are not around residential neighbors, and so although it's still a concern to me, it's more of a concern when you're in a neighborhood.
Certainly. And I think what the applicant will do is what they have been doing for their 1 a.m. is they do a last call, and from my conversations with the owners, it's the people that have been going, they're people that are known that come to this place. It's not something that people randomly come to, but people that this is a destination for them to go because it's a Colombian a restaurant that has the Colombian music. And it's my understanding that when they do a last call, there are not a lot of people that are hanging around in after that. Everyone knows each other. So I think they will continue to monitor with the security, making sure that the noise level are at an appropriate level, keeping in mind that there's a mix of commercial and residential in the area.
Okay.
Are there, I'm assuming the bartenders are all tip certified.
There.
Okay. And also, Randall, have the Been pretty quiet down there. Any concerns on your end?
Honestly, I've never seen the establishment in any of the reports, any of the logs, so there doesn't appear to be any problems at all.
I don't have any other questions. Are there any proponents that want to speak on behalf of this issue? Hearing and seeing none. Are there any opponents that want to speak on this issue? Hearing and seeing none. I'll just note for the record that Councilor Novoselsky is in support. I'll make a recommendation. I'll make a motion to approve to 2 a.m. With the stipulation that music is 1 a.m.
Certainly.
Is there a second?
I'll second the motion.
The license has been approved.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item number 6 is show cause hearing. Enterprise Liquor Store, Inc., doing business as Woody's Liquors, 266 Broadway. Please state your name for the record, please.
John
Address.
Wood, I'm the owner of Woody's Liquors.
Great. The reason why we had you come before this board, Mr. Wood, is a number of violations that we've seen, and myself going in there on one night purchasing pizza. There was wine being sold on the counter out in front of the pizza establishment.
That was Sean Thornton's wine. It was the Bruins won the Stanley Cup. It was a commemorative thing. It was just to show people that it was for charity. 100% of that was going. I wasn't selling it from the pizza. It was just
you couldn't tell that coming in,
yeah,
in the front door.
Believe me, I had mentioned to my manager that it wasn't supposed to be there either. That was something one of my employees had done, trying to sell some more extra wine. They didn't realize that it wasn't supposed to be there. We immediately removed it once we realized it was over there. But it was a charitable thing. It's not a regular thing. It was that one time, and they didn't realize it wasn't supposed to be there.
Okay. The one concern I have, and on numerous occasions by this commission, by the Revere Police Department, they've gone in and that door has been open between the two establishments. And in approving the pizza establishment's license, it was determined that at that time that the two establishments would be separate and distinct, and that you wouldn't be able to pass through from one establishment to the other. You've submitted floor plans. There's correspondence from Chairman Pepe, my predecessor on the commission. What I'd like to do is I'd like to see you remove that door. I think we've been in there. I think the board has been, very gracious in that I don't want to be a detriment to your business, and I don't want.
It is.
I don't want.
It is a detriment to my business, and it is hurting that door being closed. I didn't mean to interrupt you, by the way. But,
what I'm saying to you is that was the agreement that you agreed upon in order to do that.
Yeah.
And those are the rules in which we're gonna follow. And what I'm saying is if people want to go outside and they want to come back in, then that's what they're going to have to do. If this establishment was down the street and you had two separate establishments, that's how it would work.
Chairman, and with all due respect, and I don't mean this as a disrespectful thing, but I noticed there's other businesses have come since my business is done what I'm doing. Joe's Market, he has a liquor store in Dunkin' Donuts is in there. It's with children are coming and going in there. You get down the street, Dairy Mart Liquors has a convenience store. He has kids coming in, liquor being around. Broadway Convenience right down the street. Why is it different for me? And again, I understand what you're saying, but times have changed since that time. And Joe's got an approval, and he's got people running around his store with food and being in there. And why am I being excluded in this? Again, I respect. I'm not trying to disrespect anybody here, but my business, it is hurting my business. I'll be honest with you. And what happens is we don't get a lot of pizza into the liquor. We get mostly my customers that come in from the liquor will go into the pizza to get a slice on their way out the door, and it does help. And since we did have the door closed, it was hurting my slice business and pizza business to the point where I'm actually thinking about closing the pizza store as it is, because it's not doing as well as I had hoped. But with that being said, there are other establishments that have, the same type of thing that I'm doing, much newer than I am, and they got an approval for the same type of service I'm providing, yet they got the approval and I have to close my door. I don't think it's right. I understand.
I fully understand your point, but recognize that when you apply for this license,
Yeah.
under the approval process, you agreed to do that.
Could I alter that or change that at some point and come before this board and have that changed? And could I ask for permission to have it revised somewhat? Because I'd like to do that, because I'm being honest here, is that the business is hurting with the door being closed. They do feed off each other. It is a kind of a cross-marketable thing, and it is hurting the business with the door being closed from the liquor perspective. The kids that come in from the other side, they don't move over to the other side. It's never been that kind of a case. But on the liquor side, I do have quite a bit of customers that like to pass through on their way out the door, take a quick left and go and get a slice and then go. And believe it or not, they don't go around the other, 15 feet to go into the door. It's more of a convenience thing. On the way out, you can smell the pizza through the door. It's enticing, and people get a slice on the way out. It's just, I'm trying to be, what happened with this door thing is I was only I spent $200,000 to get that pizza store up and running. And I would have put purple polka dots on the ceiling if the board asked me to.
Yeah, no, I'm not disputing any of that. All
Yeah.
I'm saying to you is that you agreed to have it closed on multiple times during the course of that period. It was open. Clear violations, sent some letters out, no reply back. The door continued to be open
No, we closed it. We did close
for
it.
a day or so.
Yeah, that's
And
true.
then it was open again.
Yeah, it hurts.
I know. Well, I understand, and I know you've had some violations in terms of serving minors and things like that. And so, get me comfortable then. Get me comfortable that those things aren't going to happen in the future, because.
Chairman, with all due respect, it really doesn't have anything to do with what we're
Well,
talking
it
about.
does. They're one and the same in my.
I didn't commit any violations I was selling to a minor. This is about a door to a pizza
I
restaurant.
understand, but what's going to prevent somebody from going in there and bringing a can of beer in there and then grabbing pizza and
It's a
going?
small place. I don't think that's going to happen. We've been there for 5 years. I've never had any issues with people, other than that bottle of wine coming in for that Sean Thornton wine after the Bruins won the Stanley Cup, and it was a favor for somebody. I was trying to sell some wine for it. But other than that, I've never had any wine or beer in that area, ever. Never happened. I wish I'd like to, if I could possibly go in and revise this and just help to have the door open, because it does help with business. It really does. I'm not making this up. We are very close to closing that particular part of the store. It's not doing that great, and the liquor does help. It does help.
Mr. Wood, what time does the pizza close after the liquor store?
But they close together.
They do close
Yeah,
together.
they close together, yeah.
All right, so what I want to do is I want to table this for 30 days. I want to have Councilor Granasso weigh in as well. She's not here today. I hear your concerns. I understand where you're coming from.
Thank you.
That it doesn't negate the fact that you haven't, followed the rules
Yep.
based on your application.
Honestly, I did it to get to this point. I really wanted to be here. I asked a number of people, how do I get this door to stay open? And the only thing was to get to this point was to leave it open and get to this point. That's what I was trying to do. I really wanted to get to this point and find out.
Why don't you just send us a letter and request it?
I went up to right across the street. I went up to this second floor and I said, what do I do? I went across the street to the health department. No one really knew what to do to tell me who to see. And this is why I'm here today. I'd like to have it possibly have a revision for it. But like I said, it's hurting the business, that's why.
All right, so we'll table it for 30 days. If you could come back in 30 days,
Yeah.
what we'll do is we'll have an open forum with, so Commissioner Guanasso gets to weigh in.
Yeah.
And we'll go.
And can you possibly provide us with some justification on why ahead of time, maybe, so we can be prepared?
I'm sorry,
Why the store
like
is so-
sales or?
Why is the store so important to have open?
Oh,
I guess
sure.
at the end of the day,
I
that's
mean,
the
I
question.
could provide, some numbers when the door's closed, when the door's open, something
That would
like that.
help maybe
Absolutely, yeah.
present.
That'd be my pleasure. Yes. Thank you.
And any type of controls and safeguards that you can
Oh,
put
of
in place.
course. Yeah, things that we do every day. Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes. Thank you.
All right.
Happy holidays.
Thanks. You too.
Thank you.
You misplaced my agenda. Number 7 is show cause hearing for Wonderland Entertainment LLC doing business as Wonderland 1290 North Shore Road. Please state your name and address for the record, please.
Charles Del Pidio, 28 Cornerstone Drive, northeast of Massachusetts.
Great. So,
And Taras
I'm sorry.
70 Bellingham Street, Chelsea.
Great, thank you.
We made a report out, and I don't know if you have it right there, stating everything that went on that night, especially starting off. Would you like me to read it?
Yeah, I'd like to actually just have you give me your side of it. I've got the police reports.
Sure.
I've spoken with Lieutenant Randall, and I'd like to know how you ended up getting from a concert that in the last, at least since I've been on the board, you really haven't had any issues to a large crowd outside the establishment. Police were called, arrests were made. I'm trying to, what I want to hear is, I want to hear about, how you get to that point, and what was the root cause of it, and what could have been done differently to avoid that situation.
Okay. On this particular night, we had about 1,100 tickets out there for sale. What happens is, once they go out to all the outlet stores, then what happens is they have to bring the tickets back, what hasn't been sold, so that we know how many people that we can put inside our place. We do not oversell our venue. There's plenty of room there, and there's plenty of security on. For example, on this particular night, we had 26 security on, and that's the cover. There's so many doors, there's so many exits, and as I said before, when I was here once before, about when you come in our doors, you get patted down, you get warned, you get looked into females' pocketbooks to make sure that we have no alcohol or anything else in there. And unfortunately, and then we wristband you. And unfortunately, it takes too much time. So I'm going to say that was our mistake. And since then, we've talked about this, and I've come up with a new stamp that we can stamp people quickly and move them in. Unfortunately, everybody came at once. Usually they come staggered, but they all came at once. It was freezing cold outside, and realistically, a lot of people came that didn't have tickets, that needed to buy tickets. But without those tickets coming back to us, I wasn't going to make more tickets and sell more tickets and possibly be overcrowded. So I think in hindsight, I had to make that decision. And then my decision was to be safe and not to overcrowd.
So the establishment wasn't overcrowded at that
By no means. But,
So most of the crowd was then outside the establishment?
yeah, as I stated here, when we closed the door, we had 605 people inside. Well, that was on our clickers.
And the establishment holds how much?
1550.
1,550?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's what I mean, there's plenty of room. But, in hindsight, maybe I should have just made more tickets and moved that crowd in. But I just wasn't sure how many tickets were out there and how many were sold, and I was a little bit worried that I was going to overcrowd. And I said, I'm not going to do it.
So is this a ticket company that you've used in the past? Have you experienced any of those issues where they haven't returned the tickets?
Well, no, the promoters have to go and pick up the tickets that haven't been sold in the outlets.
And did that happen?
No. And one of the things I have over here...
So, I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but...
I'm sorry.
So is there something that you could do with the promoters to eliminate that problem in the future?
Yes, as I said here in the bottom, to prevent this problem from happening again, we'll call tickets. So in other words, you buy a ticket online, your name is at the door. Well, you know what? I'm not going to allow that anymore. You have to pick up your will call tickets the day before. That'll prevent a backup from going on and on. All unsold tickets have to be returned to Wonderland the day of the event. So any promoter that's doing an event at our place has to pick up the tickets. They have to bring them to us, or we'll have to deal with that with them. But of course they will.
So have you ever experienced that with a promoter in the past?
No.
This
was on Thanksgiving night. So I don't know if that had anything to do with it. But, believe me, we feel very bad that this has happened. And the last thing we want is anything to happen. But again, those wristbands take too much time, which we are changing. We're also going to take our security staff and put more on the sidewalks for more crowd control. But the whole idea is to move the crowd in as quickly and safely as possible, but we have to make sure that we're doing the right thing on patting down and everything else. Again, I'll say, this world that we're in is not the same world, and you have to be safe. This particular promoter, I have him at one of our other places every Sunday night, and I've never had a problem with this gentleman. But unfortunately, we did not get those tickets, and I made the decision not to make any more tickets. So,
well, I think from that standpoint, in my mind, I think you made the right decision in terms of not wanting to overcrowd the establishment. My concern is in the future, I want to eliminate. You want to eliminate always eliminate the overcrowding, but I also want to make sure that we've got some type of crowd control where it doesn't get out of hand like it did on that night.
We've done so many concerts, and never once has this ever happened, this particular issue. It was so funny, it was funny, but it was so cold out that night, and so many people came to the doors without jackets, because they don't want to hang up their coats. And they're out there freezing, and it's taken time. So you know what? We have a situation that said that we got to move it faster. So we realized that the situation, the problem, and we will make all the changes and move that line in faster, but we won't give up safety.
Have any questions?
I guess, Lieutenant Randall, was it on a scale of 1 to 10, how serious was that?
I can't say firsthand, I wasn't there, but we handle these type of things all the time. There was a large gathering in the parking structure next door, and it only resulted in, one arrest. So,
I mean, it sounded like it was a process issue, right? I mean,
It really was.
so kind of unique.
This came all at once.
Yeah.
And again, they're standing in line with no jackets,
Yeah.
and they're freezing. So again, if there's any blame on this night, I will take it totally on myself.
So in the future, I guess the protocol would be, I mean, there could be times where this could happen again, even though you follow all the right steps. It's just, and there's detailed police officers there as well.
We had 2 details plus a fireman.
Yeah.
And thank God, they're very good to us down there at Wonderland, and and I'd like to think that we're good to the police department also.
So in your experience, it's never, if all the tickets were sold in advance, you most likely you won't experience an overflow of people just wanting to get in the hope of getting in.
Yes.
Correct.
Yeah.
Just one sure.
Are there any opponents that want to speak on behalf of this issue? Hearing and seeing none, are there any proponents that want to speak on behalf? Hearing and seeing none. I'll make a motion to table this. I think that given the circumstances, I think that if you have the safeguards in place to deal with the promoter and those types of things, and it sounds like you can move the crowd in an orderly fashion, and I don't think there's any opposition by the police department on any types of these types of events.
No, from what the officers I talked to who were there, that was the problem was caused by the ticket confusion, whether people were going to be allowed in or they weren't going to be allowed in, and it caused unrest outside. And I would imagine if the ticket issue had been resolved, that probably wouldn't have been a problem since there was plenty of room inside the club.
So, with a problem that we had, we have to look at it. We have to figure out what can we do to fix this problem. And we've had meetings on it, and we've already started it. And I hope I don't have to come up here again to...
I hope you don't either.
to talk about this. But this was more of admittance problem, and we're going to make changes to make that happen right.
All right, I'll make a motion to just table this issue based on the fact that it was somewhat out of your control. You've put some controls in place to manage that process, and hopefully we don't see you here again.
I thank you, gentlemen.
Second?
I'll second the motion.
All set. Thank you. So we've got a communication dated 12/5/2013 from Massachusetts State Lottery Commission regarding applications for Keno to go licenses for two establishments, Beach Variety 382 Ocean Avenue and Super Convenient 136 Shirley Avenue. License renewals for 2014 are as follows. The following licenses, all alcohol restaurants, are up for renewal. NAI Entertainment Holdings, LLC, doing business as Showcase Cinema, Revere Chatters Bar, 565 Squire Road. Rogers Realty of Revere, Inc., doing business as The Shipwreck. Boulevard Cafe Corp., doing business as Sammy's Patio. KST Corporation, doing business as Bill Ash's Lounge. Four Partners, Inc., doing business as Antonia's at the Beach. 388 Broadway, LLC, doing business as Valari's. Twin Corp., doing business as Margarita and Martini. Food and Spirits. Speakeasy, Inc., doing business as Speakeasy. Cinco de Mayo 2, doing business as Pancho Villa Mexican Restaurant. Burbank, Inc., doing business as Full Rack Smokehouse. Casa Lucia, LLC, doing business as Casa Lucia. Domino's Restaurant, Wonderland Entertainment, doing business as Wonderland. Uno Restaurant, LLC, doing business as Uno Chicago Grill. Eddie Mac's Lounge, Inc., doing business as Atlantic Lounge. Pan Asian Group, Inc., doing business as Billy T's. MFRP Corp., doing business as The Squire. Beachmont Pizza Corp., doing business as Luigi's Pizza. 99 West LLC, doing business as 99 Restaurant and Pub. Patsy, Inc., doing business as Renzo's Brick Oven Pizzeria. The Dining Room, Inc., doing business as Sebastian's Restaurant. Wuji, Inc., doing business as Peter Wu's. Cafeteria Las Delicias Colombianos, Tequila Eucalypto 2 Corporation, doing as Tequila Eucalypto Mexican Restaurant, Lobster Cabin, doing business as the Mirage Restaurant, RK&E Corp., doing business as BK Bar and Grill, Revere Restaurant Group, Inc., doing business as Tijuana's Margarita's Mexican Restaurant and Watering Hole, William A. Chamness, doing business as Chamness Bar and Grill, David Lightbody, doing business as the Boulevard Bar and Grill, BMB Restaurant Corp., doing business as Pesci Pezzo. Want to handle some of these? Go ahead.
Where we go?
Yeah, please.
Okay. Washington Liquors, doing business as Easy Liquors. Blanchard's Revere, Inc. Revere Liquors, Inc., doing business as D&L Discount Liquors. Dairy Mart Liquor, Inc., doing business as Dairy Mart Liquor. Fromy, Inc., doing business as Beachmont Liquors. Ocean Liquors, Inc. Northgate Partners, LLC, doing business as Joe's Market. Parkway Convenience, Inc. Land of Liquor, Inc. Enterprise Liquor Store, Inc., doing business as Woody's Liquors.
On that note, that one hasn't been approved, subject to an unpaid water bill.
Which one is that?
At Enterprise Liquor Store.
Okay.
So that one has been held up temporarily.
So Enterprise Liquor Store, Inc., doing business as Woody's, is being held. P&M Liquors, LLC, doing business as State Road Liquors and Food Market. Revere Lodge Loyal Order of Moose, number 1272. Revere Lodge, number 1171 of the BPOE of USA. Patriot Civic Club, Inc. Point of Pines Yacht Club, Inc. Beachmont Yacht Club, Inc. Broadway Sound Tuna Club, Inc. And Joseph Leon Matola Post, number 4524 of VFW US, Inc. Beachmont VFW Post, number 6712, Inc. American Legion Post, number 61. Bisateki Japanese Steakhouse, DBA as Bisateki Steakhouse. Boston Hospitality SPVEF LLC, doing business as Hampton Inn Revere. The Sons of Revere LLC, doing business as the Sons of Revere. Axon Inc., doing business as Santorini Restaurant. Utica Inc., doing business as Utica Fine Asian Cuisine. Solomon Ramos Corp., doing business as Cafe Costa del Sol. And Luis Carlos Lopez Mejia, doing business as La Fonda Pasa. Hana Cho and Han Cho, doing business as Orange Grove Market. AMBE Corp., doing business as Broadway Convenient Mart. Brazizioso Enterprises, Inc., doing business as Vinny's Food Market. Vipul Patel, doing business as 7-Eleven. David Giller, doing business as R&R Realty Trust. DTG Operations, Inc., doing business as Thrifty Car Rental. Revere Hospitality, LLC, doing business as Hampton Inn. Kagan's Service Station, Inc., doing business as P&B Automotive. Burbank Auto Sales, Inc., doing business as 1A Autoway. Circle Associates, Inc., doing business as Circle Auto and Truck. Lease Towing and Auto Salvage. Mario Service Center. Millennium Motors Sales. Circle Auto Gallery, Inc. Charlie's Auto Exchange, Inc. 1A Corporate Auto Sales and Leasing 2, Inc. Boulevard Cafe Corp., doing business as Sammy's Patio. Broad Sound Tuna Club, Beachmont Yacht Club. Dairy Mart Liquors, DBA Dairy Mart Liquor. That's Dairy Mart Liquors, Inc. Bagel Bin, Inc. Ying's Revere, Inc., doing business as Ying's Garden. A&B Corp., doing business as Broadway Convenient Mart. Lee Burbank Highway Service Station, Inc., doing business as Super Sunoco. Peter's Super Beef. RBJ Donut Company, Inc., doing business as Dunkin' Donuts. Nantucket Fast Foods, Inc., doing business as Taco Bell. The China Garden, Kel's Cream, Inc., doing business as Kel's Cream. Gia LLC, doing business as Subway. Manny Bakery, Inc., NAI Entertainment Holdings, LLC, doing business as Showcase Cinemas, Revere. The Wendy's Company, doing business as Wendy's. Okay, Joe?
Wendy's Company, doing business as Wendy's. Honora Corporation, doing business as Revere Beach Food Mart. Cafe Necco, Happy Gardens, Flea Market, RCAB, Archdiocese of Boston, doing business as St. Anthony's of Padua. Entertainment, Dairy Mart Liquor, Inc., doing business as Dairy Mart Liquor. Bagel Bin, Inc. Gold, Silver, Precious Metals, Jewelry Sales, Larry Bagnera, doing business as Lavia Jewelry. Secondhand dealer, Larry Bagnera, doing business as Lavia Jewelry. Pawnbroker, Larry Bagnera, doing business as Lavia Jewelry. Automatic Amusement Devices, Burbank, Inc., doing business as Full Rack Smokehouse. KSD Corp., doing business as Bill Ashes. Chamness Bar and Grill, doing business as the Buster Bar. Beachmont Yacht Club, Inc., Twin Corp., Inc., doing business as Margaritas and Martinis Food and Spirits. Boulevard Cafe Corp., doing business as Sammy's Patio. Riviera Lodge of Elks, 1171. RKNE Corp., doing business as BK Bar and Grill. Charles Lightbody, doing business as Speakeasy. Hotel and Inn holder licenses, Revere Hospitality LLC, doing business as Hampton Inn. The next meeting should be scheduled for Wednesday, January 22nd. I'll now make a motion to close today's meeting.
I'll second the motion.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye.